Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunda Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Hare Jai Nitya Pravisham Vishnu Pad Pamsa Parivrata Gacharya Sruta Sudashishiman. His divine grace, avoid Charanaravinda. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Nitya Lila Pravisham Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada ki. Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Shad Goswami Prabhu's ki. Prem se Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki. Navadip Mayapur Dham ki. Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Ganga Devi Jamuna Mai ki. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Maharani ki. Naam Sankirtan ki. Harinam Mahamantra ki. Brihat Mridanga Seva ki. Karma Karuna Sri Sri Gaur Nityananda ki. Sri Radha Govinda ji. Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki. Sri Nath ji ki. Amida Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glories to the assembly. All glories to the assembly. All glories to the assembly. Glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Sing the Srimati first. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Yesterday we had a very, very wonderful, fantastic fabulous Rathayatra, Jagannath Rathayatra. Brother actually cooperated with us. Yes. So that was a, bliss, that was actually blessing me out from Jagannath. Everything was arranged by him. So we had such a nice Rathayatra yesterday. So today we are very, very fortunate to have among us two very important, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. One is, of course, this one is Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, who is standing here. He is walking Swami. He walks very briskly, long walks. He goes on that. While he was walking with him, I could not keep pace with him. So, and he is having that mala, so he is going to initiate a very fortunate, devotee in this temple. That is Partho. And we have with us His Grace, Aditya Prabhu, such a beautiful, ecstatic, wonderful, captivating, that is, such a voice he has, and the control he has on this, kirtan he is doing. That's a beautiful kirtan he has done for the Bhoga Aarti. This is the Raj Bhoga Aarti. Although, of course, we normally sing the Govinda Malapushan and Vishnu. But today he has given a different twist, and he made Krishna so really happy today. This is such a wonderful kirtan. So now, what is it? Now, I'd like to request His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj to give a short talk on the initiation. While he is doing that initiation talk, I'll be doing the havan, a short havan. And then at the end of that, of course, we will be initiating this Prabhu here, the devotee. And following that, I have also requested His Grace Aditya Prabhu to sing two beautiful bhajans by Srila Prabhupada. One is, of course, Krishna Tabe Punya Bhoga. So this is a beautiful bhajan. We normally don't sing this because we don't know. We don't know the tune and we cannot sing this. This is a yoga of this bhajan. So we would like to take opportunity of this presence here to sing that bhajan and let us follow that and learn from him. So that is very, very wonderful, very auspicious for us. So thank you very much for coming to this temple. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Can you tell us the schedule? What's the schedule?
The schedule now is, of course, will be doing the talk and the initiation, and afterwards maybe a couple of bhajans. Then we'll be waiting for the song. One bhajan. Okay. So normally we want to finish it by 1:30, not go on to 1:30. And going forward, we are also trying to change the timing so we bring forward the lunch prasad. So that is what we have to do. Okay, Maharaj, any other questions on this? No. Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Would you like to sit in the Yasasana or the chair in
I don't, it's not good for my posture. I just rather have a straight hand.
Yeah, not this one.
Yeah, he put his lower feet. Where are you sitting?
I'll be sitting for the towel, the other side, facing the Maharaj. And part of the room, you will sit that side, facing Maharaj. Please open the windows so that we have all ventilation. You can move the items in the back. Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. Hare Krishna. Yeah, no problem. Okay. It's tight. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, so Bala Krishna suggests that we just chant Jai Radha Madhava now while he's establishing the articles. Everyone's okay for that? Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Oh! Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopija Vallabha Nirvaradhari. Gopija Vallabha Nirvaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajanandana Yashodanandana Brajajanandana Yamuna Tiravana Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Oh, Hariya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Kanapallapa Giravadhari Gopi Kanapallapa Giravadhari Yashodanandana Prabhujanarandana Yashodanandana Prabhujanarandana Yamuna Kira Anachari Yamuna Kira Anachari Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Radha Govinda ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yesterday was the Rath Yatra 17th annual here in Edmonton, and it took place on July the 30th. That's the 7th month of the year. So I chose this verse to speak from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, and the verse 30. There's no 31 in this chapter, so what can I do? Hare Krishna. Okay, this is called Knowledge of the Absolute. Shadi Bhuttadi Daivam Man Shadiyagyam Chaye Vidu Prayana Kale Tichamanga Tevidur Yukta Chetasaha. And the translation: those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to do the purport, and I'm asking you not to show it. Okay, I want to charade this out. Okay, Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Persons acting in consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Personality of God. In the transcendental association of consciousness, one can understand how the Supreme Lord is the governing principle of the material manifestation and even of the demigods. Gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at the time of such a Krishna conscious person can never forget. Naturally, he is thus promoted to the planet of the Supreme Lord Goloka Vrindavan. This 7th chapter particularly explains how one can become a fully Krishna conscious person. The beginning of Krishna consciousness is association of persons who are conscious. Such association is spiritual and puts one directly in touch with the Supreme Lord. And by his grace, one can understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the same time, one can really understand the constitutional position of the living entity and how the living entity forgets and becomes entangled in material activities by gradual development of Krishna consciousness in good association. The living entity can understand that due to forgetfulness of he has become conditioned by the laws of material nature. He can also understand that this human form of life is an opportunity to regain Krishna consciousness, and that it should be fully utilized to attain the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. Many subjects have been discussed in this chapter. The man in distress, the inquisitive man, the man in want of material necessities, knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Paramatma, liberation from burden, and disease, and worship of the Supreme Lord. However, he was actually elevated in consciousness, does not care for the different processes. He simply directly engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness, and thereby actually attains his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Lord Krishna. In such a situation, he takes pleasure in and glorifying the Supreme Lord in pure devotional service. He is convinced that by doing by doing so, all his objectives will be fulfilled. This determined faith is called Dhrida Prata, and it is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga, or transcendental loving service. That is the verdict of all scriptures. This 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the substance of that conviction. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in a matter of knowledge of the Absolute. Thank you for participating. Okay, we're focusing a little bit today on a very special event. Bharata Sarthi Prabhu is taking the first Diksha in Srila Prabhupada's mission, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So that is quite significant because it remarks or it indicates a change, a transformation of sorts. although this is formal, it's a formal, let's say, ritual and so on like that, and vows will be made, still there should be some kind of change. Something's percolating inside, like a coffee. Something is happening that's a little different than it should be, right? And of course, Parto, who has been chanting Hare Krishna ever since he started, it meant a change. And now you just keep going, and you keep growing, and you keep glowing in Krishna consciousness. There's no stopping now. There's no going backwards and reverse and so like that. Have you ever been in a car where it goes in reverse? Like, I remember in Toronto, we took our vehicle to a garage. It was Shiva Garage, it was called. Shiva Car Care, whatever. And they made a mistake. When you try to put the gear in forward, it goes backwards. And vice versa. Didn't do a good job. We asked for our money back. Or to fix it. Okay, so we're all in this world as what we call conditioned souls. There's two kinds of souls in this world. Conditioned, and the other one is constitutional. Okay? Conditioned means that we're, let's say, influenced by lower energies. There are three major energies: Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. And yes, like Krishna states, Tiriviyar Gunamayayar Balayar, 80 Sarvam Idam Jagat. So we're all influenced by this power, these powers, energies, Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. And throughout the entire Bhagavad Gita, we hear about these three energies. They're sprinkled all over the pages of Bhagavad Gita. Sattvagun also, although in the mode of goodness, has its shortcomings. Passion means when we do things passionately. Sometimes when we're at programs, spiritual programs, we come in a little too late, we're at the last minute, we're all hyped up and set up the microphones, get this on, and we look like a bunch of clowns. So that's called the Rajagun. Okay? And have you ever seen pictures of the clown, the sad clown? You ever seen the sad? The clown's supposed to make everyone happy and laugh and cracks jokes and does all kinds of slapstick stuff. Well, then we see the picture of the sad clown because in the background of his life, it's very sad, but he or she makes everyone happy, right? So in this is the stage of tamasic, when you're kind of living too much in the past and you're sad all the time and everything's so woeful, nothing's rosy. You just look at everything that's negative. You're a negative person. Oh God. Actually, Balakrishna, I'm supposed to be giving a class to Prabhu and all that. Now you're distracted. Otherwise, I have no purpose in being here, being part of it all. So I think we should do it the right way. Okay, so that's Tamagun, the mode of ignorance. You live too much in the past. In the Rajagun, you live too much in the future. And in Sattvagun, the mode of goodness, you live a little bit more in the present situation, present circumstance. You pay attention to details. That's something Prabhupada always says, pay attention to details. Not to be too fast in the process. When we come to Krishna consciousness, we bypass or surpass these three gunas, the three powers or the three energies. And this can be done through the association of devotees. This is the first step in making spiritual progress. Is there any way we could just stop that Krishna route? Can we just arrest it for a little bit? Otherwise, I don't need to be there. I already made my point. I don't understand.
Yes, sir.
Like Prabhupada would give a class and then something else would go on. So just pay attention to details. Sattvagun, this is what we're doing right now. Okay, so everything starts with being in the right company, sadhu sangha, or satsang, being in the right situation, with the right people at the right time, under the right circumstances, and saying the right things. Saying the right things. And it's an art to be able to know when to do something at the right time and under the right circumstances. We might sometimes feel, I'm going to give Krishna consciousness to this person. He needs it. He's in Maya, deeply entrenched in Maya. We're going to tell him everything. You're in Maya, you're a demon, you this and that. Those are not the things to say. But you win a person's heart through friendship, which is a very sattvic thing to do, win their confidence, and then you can open up and speak philosophically, if that's what they're ready for. Maybe on the first visit or the first encounter, you don't say much at all, and there's not much to say. So things have to happen incrementally. And did you pick up on the word in the purport here? It came at least a couple of times. Gradually, right, slowly, easy, inch by inch, step by step, and then you get somewhere. Personally, I always worry about somebody if they were they just come through the door and then suddenly, oh, I'm so excited about this. I just like it. Everything is so nice. I like the food on that. And they just kind of do everything, no hesitation. They can do the dun-dun-duns and everything. And what's next with them? They're definitely on sugar or on some drug. Or they're definitely, that's their nature. There's some kind of problem there. So when we see people are sort of a little bit, going on this incremental approach to Krishna consciousness, then we can see, okay, they're serious. There's some intelligence, some buddhi there. Now, in terms of coming to the stage of Krishna consciousness where we are engaged in this puja and the yajna bhava and taking serious steps forward, it means that we're entering into Prabhupada's house very seriously now. Okay, whatever was there previously was, okay, it was sincere, there was integrity, but now we're getting serious. We're making vows like you do in a marriage. Of course, people don't take that very seriously much anymore. It's like a joke. You sign a contract on anything, even a business deal, and you renege, and it's like that. You've got big time, full time makeup problems in this age. But there was a time that when people made a vow and they stuck by it. They just stuck by it. They gained strength. Every time you kind of quit on something, every time you don't follow through with a project, pretty much, you're a failure. And I'm not saying that a super bad marriage is something that you have to go through and take all the abuse. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that our level of commitment is kind of weak these days. So we want to try to change that and turn things around. That really was Prabhupada's desire. And when you read the Bhagavatam or the Mahabharata, you read about all the warriors who made commitments like Arjuna making a commitment. Before the sun goes down, I'm going to get rid of that Jayadratha, that rascal, that poser, as we say in Canada. Yeah, and he did. He was just full conviction, full on. And that's what makes strong people. Not that we say something and we do something else, and there's duplicity and two-faced kind of culture. No, it's not like that. We make some commitments, we stick by it. And you're firm. So by becoming a member, getting initiated, you're basically becoming a member of ISKCON, and in a more official way. And with that, what goes along with that, you follow the sort of the rules of the house, right? Which is, you don't eat meat, fish, eggs, and things like that. I was on the Air Canada flight, and I mentioned this to the devotees the other day in another city. And I was a little bit ticked off on the airlines because they didn't have anything on the menu for vegetarians. And I mentioned it to the air flight attendant and said, you don't have anything here for people who don't want to eat animal body parts. I put it like that, and I said it a little bit loud so the local people would sort of catch on. Animal body parts, eating animal body parts. So I kind of, I stunned her a little bit. And she said, Oh, yes, well, she studied a little bit. I almost felt sorry that I put her on the spot. And I said, you know, we did try some sandwiches, but we found that she studied a little bit. We found that the tomatoes were making the sandwiches soggy, so we had to stop doing that. Okay, so I thought it was kind of a bad answer. But anyways, I just rubbed it in a little bit. I said, well, that's too bad that you don't have anything on this airline for people who do not eat animal body parts. Okay, I was just trying to make my point. Okay, and it's quite obvious. If you eat animals that are like us, that are psychologically and biologically like us, you know you're doing something wrong. It's close to murder. You know? And even Bhishmadev is saying, he's mentioning this is the Mahabharata, if you eat an ox or kill an ox, it's like killing your son. And this is a Kshatriya, guys who are allowed to kill. Okay, so we don't eat meat, fish, eggs, etc., etc. And then we don't gamble, we don't take intoxication, and we engage in family planning. That's what we do. Those are the 4 regular principles, and that's what we're committing ourselves to. And we also chant other beads, 16 rounds. By the way, are the neck beads of them? Oh, you got them on. Thank you. Good. And then, so there's 4 regular principles. I love to say it in sort of a Transylvanian style. 4 regular principles you must follow, or else I will have your blood. Okay. So we have to be serious about it, okay? And then there's 7, let's say, guidelines Prabhupada's given us for what is ISKCON, what it stands for. And it starts off with systematic dissemination of Krishna consciousness to check the imbalanced lives of people in this age. So they're like 7 principles, okay? And imbalanced lives, yes. We are very imbalanced in the way things are, the way people are, and even in terms of your diet, people just haven't got any regulation, and it's lacking discipline like anything. And so imbalanced lives on all levels, psychological, mental, intellectual, all levels. So we are trying to challenge that. The last of the 7 principles that Prabhupada outlines. He talks about the publication of books. Of course, a lot of people are not reading books these days. Am I right about that? We're selling quite a few, but a lot of people are, it's Kindle, it's this other, they got audio, but I don't have time. I'm going to work, and I'm coming back from work, and I have to do the dishes, I have to cook, I have to send Pinky to the ballet lessons, and Rafi has to go to hockey practice, etc. I don't have time. So you listen to the radio and you hear things. And so, but still, books means information. And the last practice, that's mentioned, the 7 purposes of ISKCON, is to publish information, or to make information available, knowledge, make it available so the public can hear something. After all, we're getting such, like maybe an overdose of information, overload of information, too much, almost one. I've had it. I can't stand it anymore. Okay, and it's like that. Sometimes we have meetings. So like we have retreats. This company always get together in some, countryside place. We have retreats, and it's like jam-packed 3 days of information, overload. And even though it's Krishna conscious, it is a little bit overload. And we have to learn the art of how to administer enough. Just like when they say, don't eat too fast. You're eating too fast. You're wolfing it down too fast. Of course, I'm guilty of that. But take your time. Some people say, put something in your mouth. People in the mode of goodness. And the experts say, chew it at least 7 million times. I'm just exaggerating a little bit. And then swallow it and feel it go down. And then you'll feel good. Okay, so let's be subject about what we do. And But we do need to take time to absorb information every day, information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Someone had asked Prabhupada's Guru, Bhaktisiddhanta, about, well, you're publishing so much material. How do you do it? He said, well, we're publishing about the spiritual world. And the spiritual world, there's so much going on. There's no period at which you can slow down. You know, I'm just paraphrasing. But there's just so much there. And isn't it the fact that, you know, there's just so much going on? I mean, I personally don't follow the news. You know, I didn't even know the Pope was in Alberta until I was halfway in here. You know, and now he's gone already. I asked somebody at the lobby about it. Is the Pope still around? Nope, he's gone. Oh, okay. At least I'm informed. So we need to be informed. And we certainly need to be informed about how to develop ourselves spiritually. So on the walk that I did across the U.S., I was in Ohio, and there was one fellow who pulled over. He was in a business suit, but he was in a pickup, but not a snazzy looking one. And he pulled over and said, so I see you're a monk. And I could feel his energy. I want some information, but I'm going real fast. Tell me fast. Okay, so he pulled over and said, you're a monk, so can you tell me something? Share something with me. I said, okay, here we go. You and I were human beings, and human beings are meant for two things. Number one, we're meant for walking. Okay, our bodies are designed for walking. And number two, our bodies as humans are meant for cultivating our spiritual side. You got to develop your soul side. You know, your inner development has to be established. So look at your do inventory and see checking how many demons you got inside. And work on them. Either make friends out of them or just eliminate them somehow. You know, so anyways, he said, thanks, I love that stuff, great. And he gave me a 20, and he went on his way. So we have, you know, these are our objectives as human beings. This is what Prabhupada kept saying. And, you know, like Nadine was mentioning this as well as humans, we have to go beyond the eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and recreation maybe, okay? And get on with our spiritual commitments, our spiritual convictions. So in this chapter 7, there's many, let's say, mentions of various kinds of sacrifices. But the ultimate sacrifice for people in this day and age is Harinam Sankirtan. Harinam, 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 Keva Kevalam, Kalona Steva, 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 It was so nice to see dignitaries from this city coming and being involved and gyrating even to the music and to the drums and chanting with us as best as they could. And I think they all had a good time. It was great, and I want to congratulate this community for putting on such a nice party. It was a party. In fact, Prabhupada, this is what he did. We know he did many things for us. He really promoted the concept of reincarnation, and he introduced a whole system of puja, which is quite elaborate. You only find maybe in South Indian places in the West Bengal, so elaborate like this. And he was vegetarianism, plant-based diet. Well, he was the forerunner of this. He was the cutting edge of presenting all this, these wonderful new ideas. You know? But the one thing that Prabhupada did that I think is really incredible is that he showed us a new way to party. Had a good time. Okay? Because you all know what a party constitutes. It's some kind of substances that you take and you get a little woozy. And there's, music that makes you sexy. And what else is going on? There's lots of food, the worst kind, tamasic, rajasic, nothing sattvic. You want an orange, a glass of milk. We'll never hear that in a party. So we all know what parties do and what people's lives get destroyed by just through one party. They meet the wrong person, or what was right at the moment, but then the other person that's in your life didn't like it, and You know, all those kind of crazy things. Absolutely insane. So how do we party? Well, there is, oh, by the way, at parties people dance to the music. Otherwise they don't dance. They don't dance. They only dance when they're, when they're drunk or intoxicated, they're not even thinking. Yeah, so here we are thinking, and we are dancing, and we are singing, and it's all for the Lord. And it feels good. It really does feel good. James around not feeling good. We feel like that all the time, right? I just wanted to share, I would confess, if I'm walking a long distance and I'm feeling a bit low and drained, I just think of James Brown song. I feel good, and I pick up the pace. I pick up the pace, so thanks, James, for doing a great job. So that's what Prabhupada did. He gave us a good program, very fulfilling, chanting. Yeah. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Swaram Bhavasivanam Arjanam Bhadranam Dasya Satyam Atmani Vedanam. What more do you want? 9 components to a good party. Right? The only thing missing is swimming. And a nice lake or something like that. Yeah, so that's what he's given. And to express our gratitude, we make that commitment, we make our vows. And Srila Prabhupada, we talk about gurus a lot, Shiksha, Diksha, Bharata, but Prabhupada's our primary guru. We have to remember that. He's the one that set the tone, and he can't be replaced. He's the main person. You just have to keep him in mind. He's the one that's delivered the information, not overload, but loving mode information. And he's shown us how to cook. He's just, everything is there. We don't follow everything so well, I would say sometimes, but he's given us everything. And one time he said, I've given you everything. Pause for that. You think about it. I've given you everything. And yet, sometimes you hear from other corners of the universe, oh, Prabhupada only gave us so much. Here's a guru who will give you more at the next step. Oh, that is so offensive. Prabhupada gave us 4 books that if you really get good on them, really get to know the books. 4 books. Nectar, Devotion, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya. Get to know those things. You'll become a lover of God. Now we're not lovers of God. Right? We're lovers of, Maya, the flesh. And so, but that can change. And by taking some vows, we just get serious. Thank you so much, Brother. Yeah. He's a wonderful devotee. He's a nice man. So, I think what we can do, if it's a good time right now, we'll ask Partha to just go to Prabhupada's Vyasa-san, and you can offer obeisances to him. And we'll ask these wonderful people to move to the side, and your turn will come, don't worry. So offer your obeisances to Prabhupada, and then you can offer obeisances here, and then we'll go through some testing. Hare Krishna, and in the meantime, everyone can go Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I just want to reiterate what I said before. Education, disseminating knowledge, it's more important than rituals. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so it's time to go. Can I get a pen in the box? I think it's it. Okay, I guess this would be okay, so maybe right here will be all right. Yeah. Okay, so now Is the drum ready? Okay, so you part the 70. Can you tell us what are the 4 regular principles that you agree to abide by? No meat eating. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the 4 big ones. You're a human being. Okay. All right, and how many rounds do you agree to chant? Well, of course, we'll tell you you're 64 sometime. Okay, nice, very good. Good practice. And so I'm going to give you these beads, but I have to admit it's very hard to figure a name for you because your name is perfect, Parthasarati. I can't think of anything better. Krishna, the super excellent cab driver. Super excellent. There's nothing better than that. No. So we chose a name which is, okay, yesterday we had the Rath Yatra and we saw Jagannath Devis, being moved and taken off the altar and then brought to the chariot. And that taking down is a ceremony in Puri, and it's called Pandu Vijaya. So we want to call it Pandu Vijaya. Okay. You could just on your driver's license keep the Parthasarati and birth certificate because it's too good of a name, but otherwise, now you got 2 names. सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठामिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि स्वाहा। ॐ श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भीवं श्रीवटतटस्थिता कर्षन् वेणु स्वनैर् गोपीनाथ श्रिये अस्तु नः स्वाहा। ॐ तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये स्वाहा। ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद स्वाहा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा। ओम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा। ओम श्री कृष्ण चैतन्याय स्वाहा। ओम श्री नित्यानंदाय स्वाहा। ओम श्री अद्वैताय स्वाहा। ओम पंडित गदाधरेभ्यः स्वाहा। ओम श्रीवासादेभ्यः स्वाहा। ओम श्री रूपाय स्वाहा। ओम सनातनाय स्वाहा। ओम भट्ट रघुनाथाय स्वाहा। ओम श्री जीवाय स्वाहा। ओम गोपाल भट्टाय स्वाहा। ओम दास रघुनाथाय स्वाहा। ओम कृष्णदास कवये
स्वाहा ओम नरोत्तमाय स्वाहा ओम विश्वनाथाभ्याय स्वाहा ओम बलदेव जगन्नाथाभ्याम स्वाहा ओम सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोदाय स्वाहा ओम बाबाजी श्री गौर किशोराय स्वाहा ओम श्रीमते सरस्वती भक्ति सिद्धांताय स्वाहा ओम श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी रूपादाय स्वाहा ओम श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी रूपादाय स्वाहा ओम श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी रूपादाय स्वाहा ओम दीक्षा गुरवे श्रीमते भक्ति मार्ग स्वामी ने स्वाहा ओम दीक्षा गुरवे श्रीमते भक्ति मार्ग स्वामी स्वाहा ओम दीक्षा गुरवे श्रीमते भक्ति मार्ग स्वामी स्वाहा ओम मंत्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दन यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे स्वाहा ओम अपराध शास्त्राणि कृत्य अनिशं मया दासोऽहमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व मधुसूदन स्वाहा ओम प्रतिज्ञा तव गोविंद न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति इति संस्कृत्य प्राणसंधारयाम्यहं स्वाहा ओम नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय ओ ब्रह्मणेताय च जगदिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः स्वाहा ओम नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय ओ ब्रह्मणेताय च जगदिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः स्वाहा ओम नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय ओ ब्रह्मणहिताय च जगदिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा Please come. We'll make progress. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते स्वाहा ओम the Premadhvari Jewish father Jewish Paramahamsa Parvajacharya Ashtotra Sishima is doing this AC Bhattam Shilopad ki jai Jewish Paramahamsa Parvajacharya Ashtotra Sishima is doing this Bhakti Sansa Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai Anantapuri Vaishnava ki jai Namaja Haridas Thakur ki jai ISKCON Project Jadguru Shilopad ki jai Prem Se Goswami Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakunda ki jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Govina Shambhanath Guna Nivardhan ki jai Dhawan Dham ki jai Agran Dham ki jai Gaudi Dham ki jai Mayur Dham ki jai Gangamai ki jai Yamuna Mai ki jai Bhakti Devi ki jai तुलसी महारानी की जय, सेक्रेटरी की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All blessed assembled devotees, all blessed assembled devotees, all blessed assembled devotees, all boys, all Vaishnavis, Varga, Hari Hari Bol. Namo Shwadaya Krishna Vesaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Just come with me. Let's do one pradakshina. Are you agree? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna, thank you. Aham bhagavato amsho asmi sada daso asmi sarvada tat krupapekshago nitya nityatmanam smarpayet agne maya subhadaraya asman vishmar deva vailari vidvan yo dasmat yuranameno bhuistam te namavakti midhema samudbhavanamagne swastanam gacchatu. We are sending the Agni back to his abode. Okay. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha, Om Dyavaha Shanti, Antariksham Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Apaha Shanti, Vayuhu Shanti, Tejaha Shanti, Aushadaya Shanti, Lokaha Shanti, Brahmana Shanti, Vaishnava Shanti, Shantirastu, Dhutirastu, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Okay, Prabhu, now you should use your upper cloth like this and get Diksha from all the people and give it to your Guru Dakshina. And your own Guru Dakshina plus this whatever Diksha you get, that also you have to give it to your Guru. Huh? No, this is my mind. It's really new one. I asked you for the new one. Oh, yes. So, just a second before you go, let me take this.
Everyone has to give some whatever dakshina to the path, Prabhu, whatever interest you can make. Please.
No. Pandu Jayadav. I know, like this. Hey, can you stay here? Well, this is the cash from the loan. Is okay, you can put it on. What did you do? How did it go? All of you, please sit down. And Ravindra Prabhu has been there. Very beautiful yeah. Can you give us a few minutes? Please sit down.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Everyone, please take a seat. We're going to sing a bhajan that's on the screen. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very good. So, take a seat. This is a very special bhajan. It was written by Srila Prabhupada in Bengali. When Prabhupada was coming to America, coming to the West, he was traveling on a cargo ship. So from yeah. Okay. Also, I've been asked to tell you that Bhakti Marg Swami, he wrote a book called The Saffron Path. They were selling them yesterday outside. They're still available, a few copies left. You can get them at your shop for just $30 a piece. Okay? So I was telling you, this song, Prabhupada wrote this as a poem. Another one?
I don't have a mic with me. Maybe I'll try to increase my volume. So, there wonderful CDs are there. That's all the bhajans of His Grace. Agnidev Prabhu. Those CDs are available. So, please talk to the Arita Mataji there, who is in charge of our bookstore. And please take those CDs. You will be fascinated. Those bhajans are so beautiful. You will enjoy. You get this by listening to those bhajans. So please get those CDs. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So this particular bhajan is on that CD, since he brought up the CD idea. As I said, Prabhupada wrote it as a poem. Coming on the boat, you all may already know that you must have heard something. Prabhupada suffered 2 heart attacks crossing the Atlantic Ocean. And he said, I feared that if I get another one, that'll do it. The end of me. But he didn't. But in a moment, he opened his heart to Krishna. And he wrote this poem. He titled it, A Prayer to the Lotus Feet of Krishna. And he wrote it in his own handwriting in Bengali. And a few years ago I came upon this, came upon a translation of it, and I thought it's so beautiful, it should be sung. You know? It should be some. So I prayed, and I prayed to Prabhupada, I want to sing this, and this melody came to me. And when I shared it with a few devotees, they all loved it. They said, oh, you should record this. So I recorded it. Okay? Ready? We don't have a harmonium player today? So many devotees and nobody plays harmonium? Alright. Mataji, if somebody knows how to play? Okay, no problem. Krishna tava punya habe bhai, Krishna tava punya habe bhai, habe bhai, habe bhai. Ye punya khori be jome, Radharani sukhi hobe. Wait. Bhoga Aarti boli tomai tai. Ye punya khori be jome, Radharani sukhi hobe. Bhoga Aarti boli tomai tai. Krishna tava punya habe bhai, Krishna tava punya habe bhai, coming. So Prabhupada was petitioning Krishna to give him the Shakti. This is necessary to spread Krishna consciousness. Because it is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Shakti bina nahe ara pravartana. No one can spread Krishna consciousness unless he gets Krishna Shakti. So Prabhupada understood this. And he was coming to spread Krishna consciousness. So he prayed to Krishna. He said, Prabhupada also kept a diary. And every day he would write a few things, a few lines in his diary. And in the diary he said, today I revealed my mind to my dear companion, Krishna, in the form of a poem. So then we found the poem. So how Prabhupada reveals his mind is wonderful, and it gives an example we can learn from the prayers of the great devotees. There's no tinge of material anything, no material contamination. His heart is pure, and so whatever he speaks, you can learn from it. It's transcendental. So first he says, Krishna Tavo Punya Abhivai. Prabhupada addresses Krishna as a friend. This is significant. He addresses Krishna as his friend. Bhai. Krishna Tava Punya Abhivai. My dear friend, or my dear brother. He said, it is known that you are always seeking the blessings, the mercy of Radharani. Now, this is known only by Gaudiya Vaishnavas. People outside, even in India, people outside of Gaudiya Vaishnava don't know this. But because we are connected to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this was revealed. So Prabhupada, understanding this, he tells Krishna, I know something about you. You are always, your life revolves around Radharani. You are always trying to get Radharani's kripa. And of course, Krishna, when he said that, Krishna said, you know this about me? Yes. Everybody knows this. Sometimes Prabhupada would say, everyone is seeking the mercy of Krishna, but Krishna is seeking the mercy of Radha. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, Radharani is my guru. Krishna says that. So, as Prabhupada got Krishna's attention by telling him, I know this thing about you. So then Krishna wants to know, what do you want? So then he goes about from the first verse. He says, my Guru Maharaj, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he's a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. He's a devotee of Radharani. And he has asked me to do this difficult, most difficult task. In fact, it's like mission impossible. When Prabhupada was coming, many people in India was trying to discourage him from going. He said, you're wasting your time. Even the lady who gave Prabhupada free passage on the cargo ship, she said, there's some footage of her. She said, I told him, Swamiji, you're going there to die. Why are you going there? All those people, they're all cow killers. Everyone's a meat eater. So Prabhupada, he heard these, remarks that they were trying to discourage him from going. But he knew that I have my orders. My Guru Maharaj has ordered me to go, and that's all I care about. Regardless of what other people say. Because many people will come and give you opinion when you want to try to do something. Everyone will want to give you advice. So people were trying to give Prabhupada advice not to go. If he had listened to them, where would we be? But he didn't listen to them. So he said, so my Guru Maharaj, he has asked me to do this mission impossible. And I feel, I'm paraphrasing, he said, I feel I'm most unqualified to do this service. It's a big job, and I feel most unqualified. But if you help me, then it is possible. Because you are the most wise, right? Krishna is the most wise. Bhagavan is full of all opulences. He said, if you help me, then only it is possible. And then he said something very charming in the chorus. No, the other direction. No. Yes. He said, Epunya koribe jobe Radharani Sukhi hobe Bhoga Aarti boli tomai. So, this is fixed like the pole star, Dhruva Loka. Bhoga Aarti boli tomai. That you are always seeking Radharani's kripa, blessing. So, my Guru Maharaj is a devotee of Radharani, a servant of Radharani. And that means he's asking me to do this, but I can understand that Radharani wants this to be done. Because he's Radharani's servant, this order to preach Krishna consciousness, this is coming from Radha. And you want to get Radharani's mercy, so if you help me, then it will be good for you. So we are certain that Krishna gave him the Shakti, because in a very short space of time, went around the world a dozen times in 10 years. Opened over 60 temples, wrote so many books, established farm communities, he initiated so many disciples. And now, today, his Prabhupada's books are being translated in over 50 different languages. Yeah. So, Krishna helped. And something else important in this song is the last two verses. Yes. Kumara melame bhai abar se sukha pai gocharane guri din bor utabane chutta chuti bone khai lutta lutti sei din kobe hobu hor. He says, after I finish my preaching work, I want to rejoin you and go out with you every morning with the cows and the cowboy boys. That is my desire. Prabhupada wrote this on the boat. This was his meditation. He said, I want to rejoin you and go out every morning, playing, frolicking, rolling on the ground in the different forests of Vrindavan. This is all I'm aspiring for. And in the last verse he says, today this desire rose in my heart very strong. And because I am your devotee, I long to be with you so much. So this was, as I said, very significant because nowhere else does Prabhupada express his aspiration, his desire. In other songs by other acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they express their desires also. And practically the majority of the acharyas, they express desire to serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. But Prabhupada was a little different. He wanted to go out with the cowherd boys and take care of the cows, go traveling every morning. You know, you read Krishna book or read Srimad Bhagavatam 10 cantos. Every day Krishna would take first he started taking the calves out. As he grew a little older, then they did put him in charge of the cows. But he's a cow herder. But every day, Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends, Sridham, Sudam, others, they go out from the morning and they would stay out all day just playing while the cows were eating grass. They'd play and they'd all bring a picnic lunch from home. But because Krishna was the son of the king of Braj, Brajenjanandana, what was in Krishna's lunchbox was all the goodies. He had the goodies, like samosa, kachoris, sandesh, rasgul. After all, his father is the king of the cowherd. And because all the other cowherd boys, they knew Krishna's got the goods. He's got the real stuff in his lunchbox. And they were generally village boys, cowherd boys. In their lunchbox they would have rice, dal and chapati. But Krishna would have all these, his favorites. It's like that song I sung during the Aarti, Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala Sri Bhoga Aarti. That is such a beautiful song. It describes Krishna's lunch every day. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had a vision of this. He revealed it, put it in song. So many wonderful preparations. And Radharani used to come, but on Mother Yashoda's request, Radharani would come to her house to cook for Krishna. Imagine Radharani's cooking, how wonderful it is. And so, and he would come when Krishna come to lunch, his cowherd boys would come also. They would eat these wonderful preparations. And then the remnants would be distributed to Radha and her companions. So, this desire to go out with the boys and take care of the cows and play and have picnics, this is very, very wonderful. And even in the Bhagavad, there are verses that say, where the gopis are speaking and they say, those cowherd boys, They are so fortunate. They are the most fortunate. Because every day they get to go with Krishna. They spend the whole day. And we gopis, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. They can't go and talk to Krishna. So all the meeting between Krishna and the gopis, it had to be done on the sly, sneaky. But some of the cowherd boys and some of the gopis who were Radharani's confidants, they would make the arrangements for Radha and Krishna to meet every day, somewhere away from the houses. So they got to meet with Krishna and talk with Krishna, but not as much as the cowherd boys. But according to Rasa, the gopis, they're in Madhurya Rasa, that is the highest. And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, there is no method of worship better than what was conceived by the gopis. He was a sannyasi. And he said, there is no better. But they were, even though they're in this Madhurya, they were lamenting that we can't get to be with Krishna as much as these cowherd boys. How lucky are they? Now spiritually, according to Tattva, all the rasas are equal. Everyone is satisfied having a relationship with Krishna. Prabhupada wrote a book, Nectar of Devotion. These things are discussed in there. So, in the song, there was also one verse, this sixth verse. Yes, I didn't sing that one, you may notice, because that was not written by Prabhupada. That's a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken by Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto. And Prabhupada inserted it in his poem. But it's in a completely different meter. So it wouldn't fit. I couldn't sing that in the tune. So I would just skip over it and go to 7th. But the verse itself is a wonderful verse. We can go to the English. So verse number 6. Keep going. Yes. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj to Lord Nrsimhadev in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 9th chapter, verse 28. Prahlad Maharaj says, thus by associating with material desires one after another, I was following the general population by falling into a blind well full of snakes. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the great sage Narad Muni, he kindly accepted me as his disciple, and he instructed me how to achieve a transcendental position similar to his own. How could I ever leave the service of your servant? So, Prabhupada, he was absorbed, and the fact that he inserted this verse meant he was thinking about this, because he was coming to do just that. He was coming to give us a process, Krishna consciousness, by which we can also attain transcendence. We can become transcendental. If we follow the teachings, Srila Prabhupada is giving us these teachings. They're not, he didn't make them up. These are coming down in disciplic succession. The Mahajans, like Narad Muni is one of the Mahajans. He's an authority on Vedic wisdom. So, Prabhupada was coming to give all of this, and especially giving us the Maha Mantra, by which, if we chant sincerely, we can attain transcendence. So, this is the sum and substance of this song. Okay?
Prabhu, will you take some questions? Yeah.
Question to my Prabhupada.
Question. Okay.
Interestingly enough, Prabhupada's father, Guru Mohan Ji, when he was asking blessing, he always asked sannyasi's blessing for Radharani and for Krishna. And we are very fortunate here. This song that you know, that poem, Prabhupada himself asked Satchidananda Prabhu, was from Calcutta also, to sing this bhajan. This bhajan is also on YouTube. And Satchidananda Prabhu was from Edmonton.
I never heard him singing.
It's on YouTube.
But this melody came to me.
No, that's good. That's good. Because Prabhupada wanted this bhajan also. This one.
Well, he never asked. As far as we know, there was no, this bhajan this poem was discovered by some of his disciples in a trunk, one of those metal trunks you can buy in India. Yeah. There was a trunk in Radha Damodar temple where Prabhupada used to stay. He had a room there. He had taken a room there, and the devotees searched, when they were going to clean up, and they found these papers and some manuscripts and other things. And when they discovered that, then they had to translate it because it was in Bengali. But I never heard that Satchidananda. I met Satchidananda. He lives in Canada, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
He's here.
No, he used to. He went back to Krishna.
Oh, he's already passed.
Yeah.
I met Satchidananda in 1977, before Prabhupada had left. He was living in the Krishna Balaram temple. He was a pujari. But when he wasn't doing pujari work, he would sit in the temple with a harmonium and sing all these beautiful bhajans for the deity.
He has this bhajan on YouTube.
But I met him, and he took me up to his room, and we spent maybe an hour or so, and he was singing different songs, different bhajans. And I really liked him a lot. Sometime after, the devotees took him to a studio, professional studio, and they recorded four bhajans. And ISKCON released those bhajans. Yeah. Krishna Murari, Sri Krishna Murari. I thought they were the best bhajans that was ever recorded. But then I went back I met him in 77, but it was around just after Gaur Purnima. Prabhupada was in Mayapur, and there was a every year he started this festival for Gaur Purnima. And after Mayapur, all the devotees would then go to Vrindavan and continue the festival. But that year, while we were in Mayapur, Prabhupada became ill, sick, and he couldn't travel to Vrindavan. But he said, we should still go, all the devotees should still go and have a festival in Vrindavan. Some devotees wanted to stay because Prabhupada was ill, his feet were swollen, puffy. But he said, no, you go further Vrindavan. I'll come later. And he came later, and but his health never improved. He tried to make a last trip. He went as far as England, and he was just getting more sick. So they brought him back to Vrindavan, and that's where he left. Vrindavan. But that boy, Sachidananda, he was, when I met him, he was a brahmachari. But he got one, I think the girl was from Canada. Yeah. She went to Vrindavan, attempting to live simple, but anyway, they got together and they left, and then I heard that they came to Canada. And I would always inquire, when I would go to Canada, go to Vancouver, or somewhere in Toronto, Montreal, I would always ask the boys if they know if they've seen Sachidananda. And they said, yeah, he apparently he had 2 children. Only one? Things expand. But he would very seldom come to the temple. You know, like the Janmashtami or something like that. He would come, otherwise he was busy working. And I thought, such a loss, because he was so, his voice was so sweet and so nice. All right, we shall stop there.
We gotta one more. He asked you one more.
I could hear that.
You can do it. I'll help you. Give him one more.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, we will not get this chance. God knows when we'll get this chance to hear you.
What about drawing your
We can't be satisfied. These are all possible. Nobody can be ever satisfied. No devotee is to be satisfied.
Your voice, Prabhuji.
They get the bliss, but they want more.
I hear him every minute.
Just grab one of my CDs. I recorded CDs. My voice.
Okay.
Haribo? So who's doing the song? Put up on the screen, Hari Hari Deepale. It's by Narottam Das Thakur. Hari Hari Deepale. That's it. Okay, let's do this. Hari Hari Deepale Janam Vainu. Manusha Janama Bhaya Radha Krishna Navadhiya. Janiya Shuniya Disha Kainu. Janiya Shuniya Disha Kainu. Bolo Kira Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. Ratina Jani Lokini Ratina Jani Lokini This bhajan, Hari Hari Di Bhajan, this was Prabhupada's favorite. He told this to Jamuna Devi. She asked him, what is your favorite? And he said, Hari Hari Di Bhajan. And it's a wonderful song. Because Narottam Das Thakur is lamenting. You know, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says you shouldn't lament. Na sochati, na kamshati. Don't anger and don't lament. But this is a different kind of lament. This is spiritual lamentation. And this brings purification. So Narottam is lamenting that, my Lord, Hari Hari Dipale Janama Bhavayam. I got this human form of life, which is meant for worshipping Radha and Krishna. But I didn't do that. He said I didn't take it up. So I wasted my life. He said, in fact, more than wasting my life, it's like I was drinking poison knowingly. He's speaking very poetically. So if we don't take to Krishna consciousness and we know something of it, then we are drinking poison knowingly. This Krishna consciousness, he says, Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. If you want to know where this Hare Krishna mantra comes from Goloka. They are chanting in the spiritual world. Yes. They are always chanting, singing. Lord Brahma says, there, in Goloka, every word is a song, and every step is a dance. So, we can imagine what must be the singing and dancing. So, this chanting was brought from Goloka to earth by who? Mahaprabhu. The Sankirtan came from there. And he brought it and distributed it. And he taught by example how to do it. duty to try to give it to others. Mahaprabhu said that. He said, you should make your life perfect by taking up Krishna consciousness. And then do what is called para upakara, welfare work for others by giving them this. So, Prabhupada did this. You know, he could have stayed in Vrindavan, most holy place. Vrindavan is the most holy place in the universe. He could have stayed there. But no, Prahlad Maharaj said in another prayer that when Lord Nrsimhadev was, Lord Nrsimhadev, he came out of the pillar and saved Prahlad. And he killed his father, Hiranyakashipu. And then all Hiranyakashipu's men came and killed them all with his nails. So then he told Prahlad, take something from me. Ask me for a benediction. I can give you something. That's what I do. I can give you a benediction. Take something. Prahlad Maharaj refused. And then Srimati kept persisting. Take something. And he said, my Lord, I am not a merchant. I am not a merchant. Yeah, I do something for you, so therefore you should do something for me. No, it's not like that. We want to serve Krishna, no strings attached, selflessly. And that's why Mahaprabhu said the gopis are the best example of that. So, Narottam in the song he says, I didn't take it up. He's lamenting. And my life is going by. It's passing by. And one day you wake up and you realize, what have I done? Haven't done anything worthwhile. So he's coming to that realization. So he said, now I'm coming to you, begging you to don't push me away. Just keep me in the corner of your lotus feet. That is my prayer. So that's why this song is like that. Prabhupada commented on this part of the bhajan one time, and he said, this is a very nice position to come to, where you feel you have no other shelter but Krishna. We don't think like that, we don't feel like that. We have other shelters. Maybe money is a shelter, or whatever. But when you come to think of no other shelter, only you, Krishna, that is a very nice position to be in. All right? So thank you all very much.
Somebody wants to take a picture, please.
Yes, definitely.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Happy Day Prabhu ki jai.
I'm Christian from Francis, yeah. I'm fine with that. That is my service for other one of the parents. And now somebody take mine. Now take mine too.
Where's Ananda? Ananda, jump in here.
Last one. They don't provide word provide so they
That's why you're late. You're just waiting 4 hours. That's it.